In addition, physical distribution in supply chain management is
Sabi ko
also
ay
how retailers make their products available to the consumer. It's also the weakest link in the supply chain and a major headache for distribution managers, warehouse coordinators, and customer service departments, which is why it is important to know the components of physical distribution. For the first for the first component, order processing, alternatively known as order fulfillment, it is the handling of customer orders within the distribution center, maybe warehouse or retail store itself, involving the keying of customer and order details into the computer system in order to produce the invoices for picking. Warehousing. It involves all the activities required in storage of goods between the time these are procured and the time these are transported to the customer upon receipt of order. This function basically involves receiving the merchandise, breaking bulk, storing, and loading for delivery to customers as per their details. Storage warehouses usually keep goods for long periods, while distribution centers operate as central or middle locations for quick movements of goods to retail stores. Transportation. It is indispensable for physical distribution of goods and services. It enables channel members like producers, wholesalers, and retailers to make goods and services available at the customer's place of purchase or at his doorstep. From cost point of view, transportation accounts nearly 25 to 40% of total distribution costs. Inventory control. This is a major component of a retail organization's physical distribution system. It includes money invested in inventory, wear and tear, and possible obsolescence of the goods with the passage of time. In a retail organization, where finance executives seek inventory minimization, marketing executives advocate large inventories to prevent stockouts. Therefore, retailers should try to minimize optimum level of inventory to meet the customer's demand close to customer service standard of 100%. Material handling. After the order has been received from customers, the order should be kept recorded and sent to store and account sections. This task is called order handling. It implies the movement of goods inside the retail organization, warehouses, and retail stores or outlets. In case of chain stores, the raw materials finished goods move from a common warehouse to various store locations. Similarly, in case of multi-story or single-story houses, movements of goods takes place. Why is distribution important? Physical distribution is important because it compromises the final steps a business takes before they put their product in the hands of their customer. That's why so many businesses invest in a third party or logistics provider to ensure their physical distribution is handled with care. The role of transportation in the supply chain. Transportation in a supply chain refers to the movement of products from one location to one another, which begins at the start of the supply chain as materials make their way to the warehouse and continues all the way to the end user with the customer's order delivered at their doorstep. Working with transportation in SCM. Transportation in the metal is the metal link that holds the supply chain together. Every step of the process is connected together through transportation Since raw materials are moved from the dealers or where they are purchased from to the place where they are manufactured and finally to the end customer. If we don't have an economical and stable shipping plan in place, we end up losing a lot of money and that can be a competitive difference. How the role of transportation is important. First, it reduces costs. Operating a business is a costly affair already. With meticulous planning and plotting, one can save a lot of money with a good transportation strategy in place. Transportation can involve a number of different modes: air, water, or land, fuel costs, and weight. To keep the cost of such logistics to a minimum, it is suggested to conduct a full-scale price audit. Next is it enhanced customer service. The customer should be the topmost priority of a business and by proxy, also the supply chain. Tightening up your transportation lines is one way to ensure that shipments reach your customer on time and in good condition. For a large scale operation, this tiny little detail is even more important. Last is segmenting shipments based on priority. A business must understand the varying degrees of priority that shipments might have. Sometimes getting some packages quicker might be more important than getting all the packages at a moderate regular time. This is why segmenting shipments based on factors such as different customers, type of products, suppliers, etc., is highly essential. The prioritization of shipments is essential in transportation. The customers, products, time of year, and suppliers, among other factors, determine the urgency and importance of goods in transit.
Modes modes of transportation. Transportation. This refers to the movement of anything from raw materials to finished items between multiple sites in a supply chain. It enables trade between persons, which is essential for the development of the civilization. There are different modes of transportation. First is the road transportation. Road transportation is one of the most commonly known mode of transportation. In this mode, products can be transported through walking, bicycle, cars, and trucks. It is the most versatile in all of the main modes. Under the road transportation, meron po tayong two forms which is the less than truckload and the truckload. Less than truckload, ito po yung nagtatransport ng mga small shipment. Advantage po nito is yung mga customer ay nagbabayad lang sa space na ina-occupy ng products nila. And ang disadvantage naman po ng LTL is dahil sa mga kasabay po ng ibang products nito, nagkakaroon ng multiple stopovers na pwedeng magresulta sa pagka-damage ng product. Meron din pong tinatawag na truckload or TL. In this form of land transportation, the truck will go from origin to destination with no additional stopovers. Ito po yung mga nagdadala ng malalaking shipment sa iisang customer. Next po. Rail transportation. It is exclusively for the largest and heaviest payloads traveling across land. It is ideal for heavy, low-value shipments that are not time-sensitive. Advantage po ng mode na to is it is not affected by traffic, points of diversion, and switch-offs between modes. But on the other side, the disadvantage of this mode is the travel time in which it can be slower.
Air transportation. It is one of the most time efficient and fastest growing mode of transportation. Air transportation is traveling in a shorter route than the other modes. It is advantageous because shipments can be delivered to clients quickly. In addition, there are few disadvantages in air travel, such as it can carry large load of shipment. It can carry large load of shipment. Next po. Intermodal transportation is the use of more than one mode of transport to move a shipment to its destinations. Ito po yung gumagamit ng more than one mode. Pwede pong mula sa truck to waterways and road to railroads. Intermodal transportation also faces challenges such as transferring of shipments between modes with maximum efficiency and minimal damage.
Water transportation, used by firms for delivery of goods from distant suppliers, mostly conducted in containers of varied size. This mode is ideal for transportation of heavy and bulky goods and suitable for products with long lead times. Advantage can move large quantities farther at a lower cost per item, can be modified to carry specific cargo. Disadvantage, slow speed, and requires another mode of transportation. Next po. Pipeline used by oil sector companies for mass movement of petroleum products including gases. Due to quite low operating costs, it is one of the pre uh, mode of transportation. Advantage po, limited types of product can be transported this way. Products are safe and lower transportation costs than the other modes. Not subjected to delivery delays. Disadvantage, expensive to build, potential to environmental damage. Each mode, uh, each mode of transportation has fundamentally different technological solution, and some requires a separate environment, has its own infrastructure, vehicles and operation, and often has unique regulation, has its own advantages and disadvantages.
So, good afternoon po. So, kanina po na-discuss na yung transportation. So, what is transportation? What are the modes of transportation? So, ngayon naman po, I am going to discuss about the transportation network. So, first po, let's define muna po kung ano po ba yung network. So kapag sinabi po natin network, it means a group or system of interconnected people or things. Ibig sabihin po, there are interconnection of system or group na people or things po. So dito po, ang interconnection po dito is between the buyer and between the supplier and between din po sa mga warehouses po. So So, ang sabi po, the design of transportation network affects the performance of supply chain by establishing the infrastructure within operational transportation decisions regarding the scheduling and routing are made. So, bakit po ba talaga nakaka-apekto yung transportation network sa supply chain? Una po is nakaka-apekto po siya sa infrastructure po ng supply chain. So, yung infrastructure po ng supply chain, dun po kasi nangyayari yung pag-i-schedule and pag-routing po ng mga shipments po. Kaya yung transportation network po is malaki po yung kanya pong effect po sa supply chain po. So in this subtopic po, there are three basic questions need to be considered when designing a transportation network between two stages of supply chain. First is, should the transportation be direct or through an intermediate site? Second, should the intermediate site stock product or only serve as a cross-docking location? Third, should each delivery route supply a single destination or multiple destination? So yung tatlo pong ito ay madidiscuss po later, and bawat network po na ito ay i-discuss po maya-maya po. So first po is I am going to discuss po the different types of transportation networks. So first is the direct shipment network to single destination. Second, direct shipping with milk runs. Third, all shipments by intermediate distribution center with storage. Fourth is all shipments via intermediate transit point with cross-docking. Fifth is shipping via a distribution center using milk runs. And last is the tailored network. So first po is a direct network to single destination. So kapag sinabi po natin direct shipment to single network destination, it means with a direct shipment network to a single destination option, truck delivers the products from single supplier to multiple buyers. So makikita po natin dito na ito pong mga circle po na ito ay sumisimbolo po sa suppliers. And this rectangle symbolize the buyer or the buyer location. And these arrows po ay nagsisimbolo po ng mga trucks. So para mas madali po nating maintindihan po is I am going to use illustration po para mas maunawaan po natin. So kapag sinabi po nating direct shipment to single destination, ibig sabihin po yung supplier po ay directly po niya i-deliver po yung shipment o yung order po ng buyer sa kung nasaan po yung buyer. So makikita po natin dito there are 6 buyer location, and makita po natin dito po sa supplier po na ito ay bawat buyer location po ay may truck po. So yung bawat truck po na yon ay magdi-deliver po sa bawat location po. So dito po sa single destination po ay nagkakaroon po, the routing of each shipment is specified and nagkakaroon po ng trade-off. Ibig sabihin po, nagkakaroon po ng decision po between the transportation and inventory cost. Pag sinabi po natin trade-off, ibig sabihin magkakaroon between the transportation and inventory cost, may isa po dong aspect na maglo-loss ng quality, quantity, or property. So, example na lang po natin, kunwari umorder po ako sa Jollibee. So, Jollibee is the supplier and ako po yung buyer. So, kapag ako po ay umorder sa Jollibee, so directly po, i-ship po ni Jollibee yung order ko sa bahay namin. So, ganun po yung direct shipment to single destination. So, ang advantages po niya una is no intermediate warehouses. Ibig sabihin po, hindi na po siya dadaan ng distribution center or ng mga warehouse po. Ibig sabihin po, may eliminate natin yung holding cost and storage costs. As well as the transportation time from supplier to buyer location is short because each shipment goes direct. And second, it is simple to coordinate. Bakit po? Because the supply chain manager needs to decide only the quantity to ship, and second is the mode of transportation to use. So, advantage po niya Second is simple lang po siya kasi yung supply chain manager ay magde-decide lang siya ng quantity na i-ship niya, and pangalawa kung ano po yung mode ng transportation na gagamitin niya. So kagaya po kung may advantages po tayo, meron din po tayong disadvantages. Una po is high inventories. Bakit po? Because kapag alam po natin masyadong mataas yung inventory, pwede po tayong magkaroon po ng excess inventory. Ibig sabihin po, pwede po tayong mag-loss ng revenue. Then second po is significant receiving expense. So, paano pong nasabi po na mataas po yung receiving expense? Kasi yung direct shipment po, possible lang po siya kapag yung order po ng buyer location po ay malaki. Ibig sabihin makakapuno po siya ng truck. 'Di ba nabanggit po kanina yung truckload. Ibig sabihin po ito po yung volume po na mapupuno po yung isang truck. Ibig sabihin po, kapag yung mga buyer location po na ito ay small lang po or maliliit lang po yung order nila, ibig sabihin po yung expense po ng uh, ng supplier po ay lalaki. Yung transportation cost po ay lalaki po dahil hindi nga po nakapuno po ng truck. Then second naman po is, transportation network po naman ay yung tinatawag po nating direct shipping with milk runs. So this method of transport got its name from dairy industry practice where one tanker used to collect milk from several dairy farms for delivery to a milk processing company. So magtataka po tayo bakit tinawag siyang milk runs. Kasi po, before po kasi, yung mga dairy industry po is meron pong isang tanker o meron pong isang truck. And then yung truck po na to is pupunta po siya sa different supplier. Kunwari po kay supplier A. At pag nakuha na po niya yung dairy products doon, yung gatas po is pupunta naman po siya kay supplier B. Then supplier C, then pupunta na po siya doon sa factory po. Kaya tinawag po siyang milk runs. So dito po, a milk run is a route on which a truck either delivers product from single supplier to multiple retailers or goes from multiple suppliers to single buyer location. So ang mangyayari po dito, so ito pong supplier po natin, so meron po tayong buyer locate, yung mga rectangles po natin, so meron po tayong buyer location A, B, and C. So yung supplier po natin, una po is, kunwari po, ako po ay supplier po isa pong supplier. So meron po akong isang truck na gagamitin. So yung isang truck po na yon, una po magdi-deliver po muna siya kay buyer A, sa location po ni buyer A. Then pangalawa po, kapag nakapag-deliver na po yung truck sa buyer A, ay magdi-deliver naman po siya kay buyer B. Then kapag nakapag-deliver na po siya kay B, magdi-deliver naman po siya kay C. Then babalik lang po yung truck sa supplier po. So ganun po yung direct shipping with milk runs. So parang sa supplier din po, yung nabanggit ko nga po kanina na yung isang truck po yung isang truck po ay mag-i-stop po siya sa bawat supplier po and kukuhanin po niya. Yung kunwari ako po ay manufacturer ng gatas. So yung truck po na yun pupunta po kay supplier A, then pag nakuha na po niya yung gatas po doon ay pupunta naman po siya kay supplier B, then kay supplier C hanggang babalik na po siya sa factory po. Then ano po ba yung advantages kapag milk runs po yung ginamit po natin na transportation network? Una po is lower transportation cost for small lots. Bakit po? Kasi po, since nga po maliliit lang po yung small quantities lang po yung ating pong makukuha, ibig sabihin po ay yung transportation cost po natin ay bababa. Then second po is lower inventories. So hindi po ganun kalaki yung volume po na mai-stock po sa ating pong company. Then ang ano po yung disadvantage po niya? Increase in coordination complexity. So sa milk runs po kasi, milk runs make sense when the quantity destined for each location is too small to fill a truck, but multiple locations are close enough to each other such that their combined quantity fills the truck. So ibig sabihin po yung milk runs po kasi Kabaligtaran naman po kanina ng direct shipment, possible lang po siya kapag ang order po ng buyer location po o ng mga buyer po ay maliliit. And pangalawa po ay kapag yung mga buyer po ay magkakadikit lang po yung location. So third po is all shipments via intermediate distribution center with storage. So dito naman po, product is shipped from supplier to a central distribution center where it is stored until needed by buyers when it is shipped to each buyer location. So dito naman po, mapapansin po natin, so ito po yung suppliers po natin in the buyer location o yung mga buyer po natin. Then yung nasa gitna po na to is ito po yung ating pong distribution center. So under this option, suppliers do not send shipments directly to buyer location. So yung mga supplier po ay hindi po sila directly magshi-ship, magdi-deliver po ng order sa mga buyer po. Bagkus po dadaan po muna siya sa distribution center or yung ating po mga storage po na facilities. So the buyer divides location by geographic location and the distribution center is built for each region. So yung mga supplier po ay send shipments to the distribution center, and the distribution center then forwards appropriate shipments to each buyer location. So mapapansin po natin, yung mga supplier po magsasend po sila sa distribution center, and kapag kailangan na po ng mga buyer noong product or kailangan na po nila yung shipments, doon lang po yung distribution center magdi-deliver po nung shipments po sa mga buyer. So it is possible po that the products come in the distribution center in large quantities where it is held in inventory and sent to location in smaller replenishment lots when needed. So possible po na yung supplier maglalagay po siya ng malaking volume po ng shipments po sa distribution center, and yung distribution center po sila naman po yung magdi-deliver po ng kahit, and kapag sila naman po yung magdi-deliver po ng shipments na yun, depende po sa pangangailangan po ng buyer. So kung ang pangangailangan po ng buyer ay maliit lang, so yung distribution center po maliit lang pong quantity yung i-deliver po sa buyer location. So ano po ba yung advantages po nito? Una is lower inbound transportation cost through consolidation. Since nga po hindi po directly pupunta po sa buyer po yung shipments, dadaan po muna siya ng distribution center. So mababa po yung transportation cost. Pangalawa po is ano po ba yung disadvantages? Increase in inventory cost. Bakit po? Kasi po, since dadaan pa nga po siya ng distribution center, so tataas po yung holding cost natin and yung storage cost natin. And pangalawa po, increase in handling at distribution center. So possible din po na magkaroon po tayo ng defects and mabawasan po yung quality po ng product po, since nga po is marami po siyang dinadaan. So one example po nito is siguro lahat naman po tayo is na-try na po natin umorder sa Lazada or sa Shopee. So makikita po natin, di ba, makikita po natin na yung example po nito is per second ano na po siya, per second transportation network. So dito nga po, so bago po i-report po ni RG po is magbibigay lang po ako ng sample dito sa all intermediate transit point with cross docking. So ang example po nito ay kapag umu-order po tayo sa Lazada. So di ba po mababasa po natin your package arrived at the Parañaque Distribution Center. So yun po yung example po nun. And directly po ay isi-ship na po siya sa buyer po. So next naman po na magre-report po is si Godwin po.
And good afternoon po. Bale, yung port network po ay all shipments via intermediate transit point with cross-docking. Bale, suppliers send their shipments to an intermediate transit point or the DC, where they are cross-docked and sent to buyer locations without storing them. Ginagawa po ito kapag masyado pong malaki yung volume ng shipments compared po dun sa naunang network or yung sinundan pong network. Tapos from that time po na madala yung mga shipments sa distribution center, hindi na po siya isi-store doon. Bali may mga nag-aantay na pong mga trucks or delivery drivers para po i-deliver siya directly to the buyer's locations. Ang advantages po nito ay low inventory requirements since hindi po kailangang store yung mga shipments sa DC, and the other one is lower transportation cost through consolidation. Ang disadvantages naman po nito ay increased coordination complexity. Next naman po ay yung shipping via DC using milk runs. Diyan pa next na lang nung ano. Shipping via DC using milk runs. Milk runs can be used from a DC if a lot sizes to be delivered to each buyer location are small. Milk runs reduce outbound transportation cost by consolidating small shipments. Bale, yung shipments po na dumadaan sa DC, ang kaibahan lang po ay isang truck na lang yung magde-deliver. Tapos, yung shipments from DC, i-deliver lang po sa location A, tapos sa location B, tapos po dun sa location ng buyer C, and so on. Ginagawa lang po ito kapag yung mga buyer ay maliit lang yung lot size or yung kanilang orders. Bali, yung advantages naman po nito ay lower outbound transportation cost for small lots, and the disadvantages naman po or disadvantage ay further increase in coordination complexity. And the last network naman po ay yung tailored network. Tailored network option is a suitable combination of previous options that reduces the cost and improves responsiveness of the supply chain. The goal is to use the appropriate option in each situation. Bali ito pong tailored network po ay combination po siya nung lahat nung naunang network. Ginagamit po ito based po sa situation na meron tayo. Advantages po or advantage ay transportation choice best matches needs of individual product and store. And disadvantages ay highest coordination complexity. Yun lang. Next naman po ay yung role of information technology in transportation.
Thank you, Gadwin. Wala siya dun sa submitted presentation ng genre. Yung role of IT.
Ay, kay report po yun ni Kim Rasay po.
Okay. Pero hindi siya included in the submitted report.
Opo, kasi po, meron po siyang PPT po na pinresent sa video daw po.
So ako ba yung mag-share? I-share ko ba siya?
Sinunod ko po kay John Rep.
Wait lang. Meron naman siya. Sige, share ko na lang ha. Ay, sino nag-share? Ako ba?
In addition, physical
Si genre ba nag-share?
Eh,
Sige.
Apo.
distribution
role of information technology in transportation. A huge advance in information technology has already taken place in all the industries, including changes in the logistics and supply chain. Information technology helps to restructure the entire distribution set up to achieve higher service levels and lower inventory and lower supply chain costs. The use of software to determine transportation routes has been the most common IT application in transportation. This software takes the location of customers, shipment size, desired delivery timeframes, information on the transportation infrastructure, and vehicle capacity. These inputs are formulated into an optimization problem whose solution is a set of routings and a packing list for each vehicle that minimize costs while meeting delivery constraints. The use of Global Positioning Systems or GPS for tracking real-time vehicle location and electronic notification of approaching arrivals also involves information technology. Real-time dynamic optimization of transportation routes and delivery is also largely owing to the availability of current data. Throughout the supply chain, electronic notifications and tracking increase customer service and preparedness. Cross-enterprise collaboration and the narrow view given by some transportation software are the most typical issues in the use of information technology in transportation. Because transportation is frequently outsourced, efficient transportation collaboration necessitates the participation of three or more organizations. It becomes much more difficult when people work together. Other issues develop as a result of transportation software that is heavily focused on efficient routing. The software typically overlooks other factors such as customers' service and guaranteed delivery timeframes which should confine the route selected. This software produces improvements and benefits reflected in more efficient traffic control systems, better identification of goods and people, improved multimodal management, increased security and comfort in transport, real-time information, reduced costs, among others. Information technology helps transport management to work effectively and efficiently. In order to manage expense and cost reduction, it also helps in various ways like producing economically and directing safe routes. It is effective when rush hours and heavy traffic. The most important role of information technology in transportation is its advancement in the safety of everyone lives to it. Yan po.
Okay na kayo? You're done with the presentation.
Okay na po.
Or may additional pa kayo? Okay, so among the, thank you very much for this group. No? So among these, so actually, as I have reviewed your presentation, so then checking your objectives. So under naman lahat, so you have discussed the physical distribution as it is. So through a virtual, the video presentation from Val, and then as well as the role of transportation, and the last objective is you have to identify the modes of transportation and the network. So that was well discussed by John Rev. So may mga examples pa siya. And as well as the role of IT in transportation. So na medyo nahihiya pa na si Kim. No, so but among these physical distribution schemes, so which you have presented, no, so alin dito yung parang you think, no, is more risky, no, to take the pathway, no, so kasi you have not presented data, no, na alin ba yung mas showing that more companies are in favor of utilizing this particular mode of transportation. And then you have not mentioned some of the shipping companies, no, that are actually doing good, no, in this particular business. So ayun, so can you enlighten us, provide some inputs, no, regarding this? So I would like to share some of their insights. Anyone would like to share their insights regarding this? So alin dito yung parang this is in more favorable, so for businesses, and at the same time the opposite of it ay medyo risky, no, if we're going to take that mode of transportation in shipping our products. John Rev, you can share.
Sa mode po, sir, no?
Uh, so which among the modes discussed?
Para po sa akin, parang yung pinakamaganda pong mode ng transportation is yung air po.
Air.
Opo. Kasi kagaya po sa road transportation po, may kailangan pa po kasi isaalang-alang din po yung truckload. So kapag medyo small quantities lang po ay parang medyo parang disadvantage po yun. Then second po kasi kagaya po nandito po sa Philippines po medyo problema din po yung traffic. Then when it comes naman po sa water transportation, medyo mahirap din po kapag medyo masama po yung panahon. So parang ang maganda po ay air. Pero parang okay din po kung intermodal transportation since ay combination po siya ng mga iba pong modes.
Okay, so base rin naman kasi sa data, so the data says that the safest way or the safest mode of transportation is the air transport, because andun na yung security talaga features, no, letting your products, no, be delivered, no, securely on your customer. So but then it doesn't mean naman na kung halimbawa ay ito yung company mo and then you have to move your parcels, or your product, you have to distribute it to a nearby to a nearby province or municipality. So again, that's not necessary to use the air transportation. So but in general, no, it's the safest way, no, to use to transport your product or to ship your products. So may mga articles presented, no, that supporting your claim that the air transportation is one of the safest way, no, and then a most secured way, no, to distribute your products. And then in the on the context naman of parang base rin sa data, no, although it's parang boom na boom talaga dito yung mga motorcycle transport, no? Pero isa din siya sa pinaka delikado naman, sa most dangerous mode of transportation. So kasi yung data that we have is on 2009 pa, but then I'm still looking for some data na medyo data updated, no. So on the most dangerous way of transporting your product is the motorcycle. But then we can see it now that is actually really effective is the because of the traffic modes that we have in the Philippines. No? And then on the additional inputs on the on the top shipping companies in the Philippines. No? So normally you can see it on the cargo vessels, no? In the pier. No? So one of the top shipping companies in the Philippines is yung Dole. So Dole Ocean Cargo Express, and then followed by Pilwa Shipping, To Go Group, and then Wilhelmsen Smith Bell Shipping, Philippines Pan Asia Carrier Corporation, Montenegro, Oceanic Containers, and MCC Transport Philippines. So these are the eight top shipping companies in the Philippines. We're in global context, no. So the top courier or carriers are the UPS, no, at syempre FedEx, no, and then others na hindi tayo masyadong familiar are Purolator, On-Track, and TFI International, as well as Lasership, Dicom Canada, and Transports Itik, Pace, and Pit Ohio Transportation. But then we are much more familiar with the UPS and FedEx group of companies. And if you are familiar, no, on the current events, no, related with the Amazon, no, so yung pinakamayaman, isa sa mga billionaires na yung may-ari nito, they are actually shipping cargoes, no, so from their outside customers, so they are trying to compete with the UPS and FedEx, no. So yun. So the article was published at September 4th, so really current, no. So yun. So yun. So these are the some inputs that we can provide regarding your topic. But then you have presented well your topics, no. So thank you very much. So we are now moving on to the next presentation. So which is to be presented by the group of Presi, Rani and Mark Tandang. And on the other section, so this will be presented by Jeff Cupido Santiago, Jenny Santos Sildes, and Angel Nina Soriano. So you may now uh, share your screen. Thank you.
Start na po.
Yes, you may proceed now.
So, hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are the group with the collaboration of 4.1 and 4.2 that will be discussing about supply chain strategies, strategic decision, push and pull strategies, and bullwhip effect. So, first is the supply chain strategy. Session objectives. So, this will define the supply chain strategies, 10-step plan for building a supply chain strategy, identify the four types of supply chain strategy, and this will determine the benefits of supply chain strategy. So, what is supply chain strategy? A strategy for how the supply chain will function in its environment to meet the goals of the organization's business and organization strategies. So the supply chain today resembles a web with the manufacturer in the center as the result of the global economy. The backbones of every firm are logistics and supply. It has the capability to affect a company's success or, unfortunately, its downfall. A business will not thrive until it has a strong supply chain strategy in place. So the term supply chain strategy is defined in a variety of ways. State that a supply chain strategy discusses where a firm intends to thrive with a supply chain and how it will help the organization reach its objective. Also, the supply chain strategy is the complex and evolving means that organizations use to distinguish themselves in the competitive contest to create value for their customers and investors.
So, hello, good afternoon. So, according to Dr. Dietman, who is the former supply chain industry executive of Whirlpool, here are the step plan on how to develop a supply chain strategy. So, first in the list is start with customers because an effective and efficient supply chain is demand driven and customer focused. So, therefore, the development of an integrated supply chain strategy need to start with an assessment of the present and future supply chain requirements for the customer perspective. And mas patataal pa natin siya as we go along dun sa type of supply chain strategy. Next, we have assess current supply chain capabilities relative to best in class. Dito naman is kailangan nating masuri or ma-determine yung gaps between an organization's actual performance and the present and future customer requirements. And dito rin is bale, ma-identify yung mga challenges na common sa isang company or organizations across different industries. Tulad na lang ng mga problems sa halimbawa is sa inventory management, yung mga hindi na ginagamit ng mga materials, yung in demand and supply balancing, yung hindi na nagiging effective yung pagmamatch ng demand and supply. And kasama rin dito yung mga global issues and outsourcing problems. Moving naman to dun sa third step, we have to evaluate supply chain game changers or yung tinatawag nating supply chain trends. Mahalaga na isaalang-alang din ng organization to yung mga major supply chain trends because this will impact the customers and also yung supply chain and logistics nila. Fourth naman natin is to analyze the competition or yung competitive analysis na tinatawag. Dito naman is it is more useful to focus on understanding the competitor's process, technology, and network underlying capabilities. And in addition, sinasabi din dito na any analysis of available performance data is much more reliable when understanding the competitor's capabilities. Then proceed tayo dun sa panglimang step niya, which is yung to deal with supply chain technology. Importante rin tong step na to dahil sinasabi dito na technology can assist the company in enabling and maintaining process improvements and capabilities that are required to execute the supply chain strategy. And siguro mas magiging effective lang yon if successful yung pagkuha ng isang organization or ng company ng mga tao or empleyado na mauunawaan at marunong gumamit ng mga technology, marunong silang magpatakbo when it comes sa different areas sa industry. Next slide po, please. Ayun, nawala. Next slide. Ay,
Lang po.
Yun. To continue, for the sixth step naman, we have to deal with supply chain risk. Bale, companies' supply chain strategy are clearly threatened by the lack of solid approach for identifying, prioritizing, managing, and reducing risk. So, napaka-importante na mag-implement ng isang effective supply chain risk management. For the seventh naman, we have to deal with new supply chain capabilities. Dito naman is companies need to develop new supply chain capability requirements and create a plan to get there. So, paano nga ba yun? So, to define and prioritize new supply chain capabilities, nire-recommend nila na the company or yung organization build a cross-functional strategy committee that includes sales, IT, and finance resources na makakahelp sa kanila. Then, once na yung strategy team has established the selected new supply chain capabilities, need naman nila mag-create ng detailed project plan dun sa mga supply chain capabilities na napili nila. Pangwalo naman is supply chain organization, people, and indicators. Dito naman sa step na to is after developing new supply chain capabilities, yung strategy team requires new skills and competencies. So, ginagawa nila yon kasi to create a comprehensive list of skills and competencies needed for each position sa company, then i-evaluate nila yung existing people na yon based if they have already the skills or if they able to acquire them. Then in addition doon, nagde-demand din sila ng mga set of new performance indicators. Proceed tayo dun sa pang-siyam, which is to develop a business case and get buy-in. So ano nga ba yung business case? Yung business case will help decision makers understand why a special project needs to be completed. And in addition, another function is that they help organization understand project options and what each will cost in terms of money, time, kasama na din dun yung mga opportunities na na-lost and na-gain nila. So napaka-importante rin na magkaroon ng isang solid business case kasi isa rin siya sa mga key requirement in developing supply chain strategy. Then after nating may saalang-alang yung siyam na yon, proceed na tayo dun sa last, which is yung supply chain strategy execution, na magkakaroon muna dito ng SNOP process or yung tinatawag ding sales and operation planning process and meetings. And after magawa yun nung team, maybe a good time na siya to develop and execute an organization's supply chain strategy. Next slide po. So, dito naman is papakita ko lang yung figure or yung chart na nagpapakita ng pagkakasunod-sunod or yung flow ng mga step plan in order to execute and implement a supply chain strategy. Makikita natin dyan na mag-start nga tayo dun sa mga pangunahin niyang requirements or components, which is yung customers and internal capabilities, bago tayo marating dun sa supply chain strategy execution. Ayan. Next slide po. So, moving on, let's take a look naman dun sa 4 types of supply chain strategy. So, for the first type, we have client centricity, also known as customer centric. So, sa type na to ng supply chain strategy approach, focus on placing the client first, syempre, and at the center of your organization in order to create a great experience and establish long-term connections. Bale, sinasabi na in this type of supply chain strategy is you need to define your customers clearly because each one will have different needs, di ba? For example na lang, bale halimbawa is mag if you're selling home building materials, is your customer ba is home improvement store or a single or a worker or a craftsman lang? Kasi dito is you must first figure out who you're creating it for. And dito rin is kailangan din may alang-alang ng isang organization yung mga common customer needs na tinatawag na takal na naman natin dati, which is yung features where the product has all the capabilities that the client expect to make it suitable, availability, kung sufficient ba yung quantities ng product, variation, kung may pagkakaiba to meet the customer's exact use, distribution, maihatid ang product kung saan kailangan ng customer. Yung hindi ko pala nalagay sa slide yung quality. Importante rin to kasi check din nito yung product performs as expected and walang issues. Last is yung value syempre, where the product is priced appropriately. Next type po tayo ng So next type tayo. Bale, yung next type natin is predictive business or yung predictive analytics na tinatawag. Bale, in this approach naman, uses information from the past and present to produce insights about the future. And yung mga analysts nga sa isang organization or sa isang company is nag-apply sila ng mga statistical algorithms and machine learning techniques to historical data to produce probabilities sa isang supply chain. So dito na nga papasok yung pagpo-forecast ng mga data and yung sinasabi na see what is coming before it happens. Bale, ito yung mga na-list naming example doon. First is yung pagsasayos ng mga shipments in order to avoid weather or traffic issues para na rin makaiwas sa mga delays sa pagdi-deliver. Next is yung fixing machines before they break down. Mahalaga rin to kasi if ever man na magkaroon ng malaking breakdown is malaki rin yung malolos ng isang company, di ba? Last is yung addressing issues in different area before they become a significant concern. Dito naman is sa loob na to ng company sa iba't ibang area na sa company. Proceed tayo dun sa next type. Ito almost the same lang sa pangalawa. Pero this approach naman have a goal to see everything in your company. From the movement of goods in production and also the relevant information from point sales system, sentiment analysis, and others critical sources. Bale dito is sakop naman din ito yung mga ability to see accidents, traffic jams, and weather patterns that can impact sales and also yung deliver. And magre-result din siya if hindi na aprubahan, if hindi na apulahan sa supply chain disruptions. So, pinakamagandang gawin dito is makipag-cooperate or makipag-coordinate across different network partners, warehouses, manufacturing facilities, and sa ibang distribution centers. Last type po natin. So, proceed tayo dun sa last type. We have smart automation. So, yung automation or yung paggamit ng technology is everywhere na nga sa isang supply chain, di ba? From self-driving tractors pa lang and also dun sa mga robotics na nakikita natin sa mga warehouse is really helpful in the supply chain and logistics. Next slide. And smart automation approach can lead to the speed in decision, making speed in reducing cycle times, speed in operation, or sa paggawa, syempre, and also speed in continuous improvement. Kaya yung mga malalaking companies nag-ooperate talaga sila ng mga AI or yung artificial intelligence na tinatawag sa isang supply chain and logistics nila. Bali dun sa share ko lang sa inatenan kong webinar pala, yung about Industry 4.0, meron dong pinakita na website na parang very techy talaga siya, yung approach niya. And hindi ko na matandaan yung pinaka whole detail niya pero yung company niya is Ionic Smart Factory siya. Yun. Then bali nag-list din pala ako ng mga benefits ng AI sa supply chain like warehouse efficiency, reduce operation costs, on-time delivery, enhance safety and accurate inventory management. So bali yun yung 4 types ng supply chain strategy. Next is the benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Who's next?
Benefits of supply chain strategy. Number one is to support your business goals. An important part of achieving business goals is to know what is required from your vendors and distributors to get there. The start of any supply chain strategy is to list how your products get from the original supplier to your company. If you receive raw materials to make a final product, map out each one of these sources and how they arrive at your company. Remember that parts or materials can come from multiple vendors or distributors. So, creating an effective supply chain strategy can involve making strategic trade offs between the cost to the company and the level of service to the customer. So, for example, making outstanding customer service mean that every product is always in stock can lead to excessive inventory, and that can lead to ideal manufacturing capacity because too much product was made at one time. Second is to understand your historical data. So to know where a company should go to achieve their business goals, they need to understand where they have been. You can start by identifying how much product or raw material your company received from each supplier and what the cost was this past year. So determine how reliable they were in terms of promised price and on-time delivery. Identify what the variances were and their causes. It's beneficial to compare how each of the vendors perform on an annual basis so their future value in your supply chain strategy can be determined. Third is to know where your inventory is. So in order to meet customer demand at a sustainable profit, every company needs to know where their finished inventory or their raw materials are in the supply chain. So cloud-based technologies now allow businesses to see exactly where all their inventory is from their warehouse to store shelf. So every effective supply chain strategy requires this end-to-end visibility. So the type of system companies can implement include point of sale, warehouse, and inventory management solutions. Fourth is to adapt to changing customer demand. So markets evolve quickly, so in order to make a profit, companies need to able to identify changes in prices, delivery, and customer demand rapidly. And previously, companies waited for end of demand inventory and production reports to change their game plan. Now, growing businesses with a supply chain strategy can make dynamic adjustments based on what their cloud-based systems report to them daily. And lastly, to adapt to changes in internal product design or management. So product must be produced at the right cost and rate for a company to be profitable. And the actual cost to deliver a product must be accurately captured for financial planning. The decisions made in the early part of product development can ultimately determine its success. So with the right supply chain strategy, designs can be optimized for manufacturability and long-term supply levels. So, for example, knowing the committed delivery rate and price that raw materials can be sold to a business or a proposed product will influence the company's desire to produce and stock it if they know they can make a long-term profit.
Ayun, bale, bago pala matapos yung topic namin about sa supply chain strategies, mag-iwan kami ng isang quotation galing kay Sir Dan Gilmore na sinasabi na a supply chain strategy involves adding a new rudder with a captain and a crew that know exactly how to get their destination, but with a plan that has some resiliency built in for the inevitable storms the ship will encounter along the way. Bali yung pagkakaintindi lang namin about dito sa quotation na to is in order to build a strong supply chain strategy, yung captain na tinutukoy or yung manager or yung CEO is who leads the company must have a concrete plan or apply step plans so that if there are challenges in a supply chain is mare-resolve agad, syempre with the help of the crew or yung mga workers or empleyado sa isang company or organization na may knowledge din about dun sa SE strategy and what once it is applied correctly and smoothly nga, the company will move far to the destination it desires or yung goal that the company wants to achieve. Yun lang po dun sa topic ng supply chain and strategy. Thank you po.
Next is the strategic management. So, strategic management is all about identifying and describing the strategies that managers may use to improve their organization's performance and gain a competitive edge. If an organization's profitability exceeds that of all other organizations in its industry, it is considered to have a competitive edge. So, strategic management is the process of developing the existing skills that enable a company to produce value for customers, their shareholders, and society while competing in the market. This will also help an organization gain competitive advantage from other businesses and improve their market share and plan for the future of their business.
Medyo may ano lang po, background noise kasi po may ginagawa lang po dito sa bahay. So now what is a strategic decision? So strategic decision are decisions concerned with the entire environment in which the company operates, as well as the entire resources and people who comprise the company and the interface between the two. So strategic decisions are related to the overall counter planning of the entire organization or company. So it is all about a decision that is considering everything about in a company. It is made in accordance with the mission and vision of a company or organization. So if the company's goal is increase in sales and get to know their product, success and advancement, as part of strategic decision, it is the time to decide measures whether to like introduce new products or services, install new equipment, expand into new markets, get finance for project, restructure, and others. So it is concerned with company's growth and development. So that is a strategic decision. Next po. So, in strategic supply chain processes that management has to decide upon will cover the breadth of the supply chain. So, a strategic decision covers and must consider first the product development. So, as product cycles mature and revenues decrease, management has to make strategic decisions on whether to manufacture and develop innovative versions of existing items, rationalize the existing product offering, or establish a new range of products and services. So it is important that the products goods and services have a new taste as new in the eyes of customers. It will easily get the customers' attention because they always want and looking for something new, unique, and innovative. So that's why it is necessary in any business to develop and improve their products. So, as part of strategic decision, it must also consider the customer. When companies management decides of what the product to be produced in a particular area, it must next consider and identify the target and key consumer. It is necessary for a business to identify its potential customers and analyze their demands. And a management and a management does not make decisions without taking into account the needs of a customer. In order to achieve its goal and objective, the product must have a customer. No corporation wants to develop a company simply to be able to say that they have built a company, but rather to be known, to grow, and earn profit. So, as a strategic decision, it must determine the key consumer using marketing and advertisement. So, next is the manufacturing. Strategic manufacturing decisions specify the infrastructure and technology required in the production process. So, company management must make strategic decisions about how things will be manufactured based on high level projections and sales estimates. As a strategic decision, one among approaches could be the construction of new manufacturing facilities or the expansion of current ones. So, however, if the overall corporate goals involve exporting manufacturing overseas, subcontracting and third party logistics may be used or may be utilized. So, subcontracting and third party logistics are process of outsourcing which a company hired to perform services outside the company. So next po is the suppliers. Suppliers. A company's purchasing cost can necessarily correspond to increased profit. And there are a number of strategic alternatives for achieving that goal. By collecting the entire company's purchases across multiple divisions, management can choose strategic worldwide suppliers that will provide the maximum discounts and savings. So these decisions, however, must be aligned with the company's overall objectives. So it is a big help to a company's less expenses in procurement and increase in profit. So when management found a strategic supplier. So last po, strategic decision must consider the logistics. Logistics is generally the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation. Because in a general business sense, logistics is the management of the flow of things between the point of origin and the point of consumption to, to meet the requirements of customers or the corporation. So strategic decisions are required in like warehouses, distribution centers, and determining which transportation modes should be used. If the company's ultimate objectives call for greater third party subcontracting, it might make a strategic decision to engage third party logistics businesses in the supply chain. Next.
Next is the characteristics or features of strategic decisions. So first characteristic is The strategic decisions could be about acquiring new resources, organizing existing ones, or reallocating existing ones. So, ang strategic decisions daw, it involves acquiring new resources na mas makakapagbigay ng benefits sa kanilang business. Next is strategic decisions align organizational resource capabilities with the risk and opportunities. So it involves studying the risk and potentials of the resources para mas magamit sila effectively and efficiently. Next is the range of organizational activities is dealt by strategic decisions. It's all about how they want the organization to be and what they want it to represent for. So, strategic decisions can help a business build a plan to achieve their goals for their organization. Next is since a business operates in a constantly changing environment, strategic decisions also involve significant changes. Next feature is strategic decisions are complex in nature. So strategic decisions are quite complicated, especially on small organizations. Since in small businesses, it is significantly complicated by limited sources given by their organizational structure, which represents low number of employees, and or they have limited capital assets and they suffer from how to gain financial sources and how to survive in competition of bigger businesses. Next is strategic decisions are very risky since they are dealing with the future of their business and organization. Last feature is reduce cost. So strategic decisions are different from administrative and operational decisions. Cost reduction is a strategic decision that is achieved by operational decisions such as lowering the number of staff. And how these reductions are carried out is called an administrative decision.
Next is push and pull strategy. Distinct businesses have different supply chain requirements with an emphasis of offering the greatest customer experience. The fundamental needs of supply chain are either flexibility to present customer demand or the capacity to deal with future forecasts. Thus, it is necessary for company to determine what approach or strategy they should use. Then dito na pumapasok yung push-pull, hybrid push-pull strategy. But first, let's discuss what is push strategy. Push strategy is suitable for scenario in which the expected demand determines process inputs. This means that organization that utilize push strategy ay nagbe-base sa forecast demand para malaman kung ilang stock ng raw materials ang kailangan nilang i-order. Then next, material requirement planning process aside from forecast demand, gumagamit ng MRP method ang mga company to calculate the numbers of materials they need at the ensure na yung supply of raw materials can last until the production line. Next is it is similar to the notion of just-in-case strategy where the companies held keep large inventories on hand. Ginagawa nila to minimize the probability that their product will sell out of stock. Next, on the left side, we can see the push model. Kung makikita natin yung arrows is more on one way lang from supplier to manufacturer, then distributor to customer. Then it involves freight flow. Freight flow is since they need to deliver large amount of raw materials, the best option for them for the transportation rather is through ships, trucks, airplanes or ships. Then the best example for push strategy is seasonal products, for example, Christmas lights or ornaments, summer outfit, jackets for winter. For example, mm, Um, the Christmas lights and ornaments manufacturer starts their production ahead of time. So they have sufficient stock ready to sell for starting for the month of September or burn months. Then next, it is also considered that catering services utilizes push strategy since bago pa magpa-book ang isang customer ng catering services, meron na silang mga naka-provide na tables, plates, utensils na kaya mag-accommodate ng maraming tao. Then, next, car manufacturing company is also considered utilizes push strategy since hindi naman sila naghihintay ng order bago gumawa or mag-manufacture ng isang sasakyan. Instead, gumagawa na sila ng mga iba't ibang klase ng sasakyan, then i-display nila yun sa outlets nila. So, binibigyan nila ng option yung customer kung anong style ng or klase ng kotse yung bibili nila. Next is uh,
Next is the pull strategy. These three information below is the key highlights of pull strategy. So obviously, pull strategy is the opposite of push strategy. All the process starts from customers' orders. So first, depends on actual consumer demand and uses real-time data to assure inventory order accuracy. Meaning, those businesses and companies implementing this strategy will rely on how their consumer demand for the product as well as no delay on the timeliness of the data and information needed using real-time data. Second is it employs the just-in-time strategy. Time strategy in order to align raw materials deliverers directly with the with the production schedule and customer orders. This strategy will also help the manufacturing and inventory system to increase the efficiency and decrease of loss. Third is concerned with inventory management and stock on hand reduction. This implies because they are trying to avoid both gluts and shortage while maximizing efficiently streamlined inventories. Next. Um, Customers is ordering specific amount of goods or product, then retailers, wholesalers, distributors, manufacturers arrange the production and shipment based on customers' demand. As you can see in the picture, full strategy will start from bottom, which is the customer. This point of sale data is the data collected by a business when transaction happen. In this case, the collected data from customer will put it out to the manufacturer. Then manufacturer will send it to their supplier. Then after creating the final goods or product, the return of favor will now start from the supplier going back to its customer to receive its desired product. Companies that implemented full system strategies are as follows. First is the Zara, which is apparel company. Next is Louis Vuitton and Nike. Next, advantages of push and pull strategy. First is on push strategy, it is make to stock. Next is high inventory. Then producer centric means understand exactly what the product is and develop advanced product, then forecasting demand. While on full strategy, make to order, limited inventory, customer centric, in which they exactly know what the customer is and improve cash flows. Next.
disadvantages of push and pull strategy. First, for push strategy, if forecast demand is one of their advantages, it could be also their disadvantages since not all the forecast demand is accurate. Then, second, high carrying cost since nag-implement sila ng in-implement nila yung push strategy kasi nga para hindi ma-sell out of stock yung product nila. Ang equivalent nun or consequence is meron silang high carrying cost. Then number three, it requires maintenance of large complex database since marami silang inventories, kailangan ma-monitor to na maayos and hindi siya pwedeng i-monitor lang through papers. Kailangan ng support ng system. Then for pull strategy, number one, it is usually effective when there is high brand loyalty. Kung napansin nyo, yung example kanina is mga kilalang brand kasi um, meron na silang meron na silang pangalan, then trusted na sila ng maraming customer. Kaya mas effective siya dun sa mga kilalang brand kasi hindi ka naman bibili ng isang product if hindi mo kilala yung nagbebenta or yung mismong company and unless kung nakita mo na yung product nila physically. Then next, it requires for the company to be able to keep people buying their product, they must have strong and effective marketing efforts and strategies to attract more customers. Then last is high stress due to rush orders. Next.
Push and pull strategy. So, identifying the appropriate strategy. First, let us know what is demand uncertainty before we proceed to that illustration. First, higher demand uncertainty leads to a preference for pull strategy. Second is lower demand uncertainty leads to an interest in managing the supply chain based on a long-term forecast. Economies of scale. The higher the importance of economies of scale in reducing costs, the greater the value of aggregating demand, and the greater the importance of managing the supply chain based on long-term forecasts, a push-based strategy. If economies of scale are not important, aggregation does not reduce cost, and the pull-based strategy makes more sense. So in identifying the appropriate strategy, meaning we as a customer, which strategy are we going to select? So let's take a look in this picture. Um, in case of demand uncertainty and low economies of scale, we can apply full strategy to be better in position. For example, in computer, producers of personal computers so as per customer order, that was the time manufacturers starts to make and assemble computers. Then another example is the grocery food, which is considered as economies of scale, and the demand is certain because customers more or less buy approximately same amount of this type of goods every day. So push strategy is more appropriate. Another is when it comes to books that do not give higher economies of scale in most cases, but if the demand is uncertain, then we can use full strategy. Otherwise, if the demand is certain, then we can use push strategy depending on actual demand in the market. So in summary, pull strategy are more appropriate for uncertain demand, quick production and delivery times, and flexible supply chain systems, while pull strategy are convenient for stable demand market, having long time for production process and delivery as well as targeting cost reduction. Next. Push-pull strategy created to address push and pull disadvantages. Second is utilization of push-based system to get the products to regional warehouses or retailers, but from there they have to wait for a customer to pull a product. Next, characteristics of the push and pull portion. So when it comes to objective, push strategy minimize cost, while pull strategy maximize service level. When it comes to complexity, high on push strategy and low in pull strategy. Focus on push strategy, resource allocation, pull responsiveness. Lead time for push, it is long, and for pull, short. Processes, when it comes to push strategy, supply chain planning, and when it comes to pull is order fulfillment. Next.
Matching strategy to lead time and uncertainty. Lead time is also considered in decision making for preferred strategy. First, short if the company has short supply lead time and high demand uncertainty, a pull strategy should be applied as much as possible. If the company has long supply lead time and low demand uncertainty, a push strategy is the most appropriate. Then, if the company has short supply lead time rather, and highly predictable demand, a demand-driven continuous replenishment strategy is preferred. Dito sinasabi is kapag ganun, yung sa may letter C na quadrant, mababa yung demand uncertainty and maikli lang din yung lead time. Sinasabi dito na ang kailangan nilang gamiting strategy is continuous replenishment strategy or pagre-restock or pag-supply ng raw materials, and it involves sharing inventory information with supplier to retailer or to distributor. Then lastly, for quadrant D, long supply lead time and unpredictable demand, inventory is critical in this type of environment. Sinasabi din dito yung inventory positioning is the inventory must strategically positioned in supply chain. Dito, kailangan alamin if saan mo ilalagay yung inventory after ba ng procurement cycle or manufacturing cycle. Then, next, sorry, next po. For example naman ng push-pull strategy, Amazon is considered using this strategy. Amazon, wherein the inventory is held in a push strategy and the shipment of the orders is done in pull strategy. Then next is for the McDonald's. Kung makikita nyo dito, yung red na arrow, medyo malabo lang yung picture. Yung red na arrow stands for push strategy kung saan nagpo-procure sila nandito yung procurement cycle sa dalawang picture na to on the left side. Then, kasama sa push strategy nila yung manufacturing cycle. Then, pagdating sa shipment, papunta sa outlet ng McDonald's, gumagamit na sila ng push strategy. Plotting push-pull boundary may vary to different businesses. Kagaya na lang ng another example namin for next slide, please. So, para sa Ethan Allen supply chain for customized furniture, procurement cycle nila is considered as push processes. Then, naglagay sila ng push boundary dito sa my customer order arrives. Hihintay nila mag-place ng order yung customer bago nila gawin yung susunod na process, which is yung manufacturing cycle and customer order na kino-consider siya as pull processes. Then dito naman sa LLB na company, iba naman yung pinaglagyan niya ng push-pull boundary. First, ang kasama sa push processes niya is procurement cycle and replenishment and manufacturing cycle. Then, hihintay nila na mag-place yung customer ng order until pag nag-place na ng order yung customer, it is considered na full process na siya. And ang tinatawag sa process na to is customer order cycle. Yun lang po. The next is si Mr. Riano na po.
The last topic for this chapter is the bullwhip effect. Bullwhip effect is a phenomenon where the order variability increases as the orders move upstream in the supply chain. Bullwhip effect occurs when the slow-moving consumer demand creates a large swings in the production for the suppliers at the other end of the supply chain. It is also an unexpected distortion of the supply chain caused by the repetitive variation in the demand. Nangyayari itong bullwhip effect due to unplanned demand na nakukuha ng mga retailers from the customers. Dahil unplanned yung demand na yon, nagiging inaccurate yung demand predictions. Itong inaccurate demand predictions naman ay naipapasa ng retailer sa distributor at naipapasa naman ng distributor sa supplier. Dahil dito, lumalaki ang variability or gap ng actual demand. Bullwhip effect is also called as demand amplification, variance amplification, or whiplash effect. Itong bullwhip effect then can be considered as communication and information flow problem. Nagkakaroon kasi ng communication gap between the persons involved in the supply chain dahil yung information ay hindi agad nakakarating sa tamang tao sa tamang oras. Kumbaga, nagkakaroon ng delay at late na re-receive yung information. Magbibigay ako ng example scenario kung saan may papakita natin kung paano ba nangyayari itong bullwhip effect na ito. Halimbawa, sa isang grocery store, meron silang 50 bottles ng mantika. At one day, yung mga consumer, yung mga mamimili, bumili sila ng napakaraming mantika at naubos yung stock or na-sold out yung mantika dun sa grocery store na yon. Dahil yung grocery store, ayaw nila maulit yung ganun pangyayari na maubusan sila or ma-out of stock sila ng mantika, dinoble nila yung order nila sa distributor nila, which is 100 bottles na ng mantika. Nung chinek naman ni distributor yung inventory nila ng mantika, kulang din yung stocks nila. So para hindi sila magkaroon ng shortage, dinoble din nila yung order nila sa supplier nila, which is ginawa na nilang 200 bottles. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung demand ay nag-start sa 50 bottles mula sa customers, tapos naging 100 sa retailer, tapos naging 200 sa distributor. That's the bullwhip effect. The demand appears to be way more exaggerated as it moves upstream. Next slide po. Listed below are the implications of bullwhip effect. Number one is expensive excess inventory. Dahil unpredictable yung demand, may tendency na yung company ay i-guard nila yung sarili nila sa possible stockouts. Dito na rin pumapasok yung just in case strategy na na-discuss kanina. Number two is stockouts. Since unpredictable din yung demand, pwede din na mag-result siya sa stockout tulad ng example ko rin kanina. The number three is loss of revenues. Due to shortage and stockouts naman, may possibility din na magkaroon ng loss of revenues. At itong loss of revenues na ito ay pwede rin mag-result sa number 4, reduced productivity, wherein the operations are less cost efficient. Number 5, more difficult decision making. Due to peak demands, yung mga companies ay nagiging reactive and adaptive na lang sa demand fluctuations when it comes to their production and inventory. Number 6, suboptimal transportation. Nagkakaroon din ng struggle sa transportation planning dahil sa demand uncertainties. At number 7, suboptimal production din dahil din sa demand uncertainties, may mga production plan or schedules na hindi na rin nasusunod, which can lead to last-minute changes, which leads to overtime expense. Due to peak demands naman ito at nagre-result din ito sa quality problems and inflated shipping costs. Next slide po. Listed below are the major causes of bullwhip effect. Number 1 is price fluctuations and sales promotions. Price discounts and promotions result for the customers to buy larger quantities and stock up. Forward buying in which customers bought in advance due to attractive price offer also contributes to the bullwhip effect. Periodic special promotions of manufacturers and distributors like price discounts, quantity discounts, coupons, rebates, etc. results to price fluctuation. Bilang isang consumer, kumbaga mas gusto natin na makatipid tayo na yung marami na tayong makukuha dun sa pera na binibitawan natin. Halimbawa, nag-sale yung kape, buy one take one. Iniisip natin na hindi naman siya perishable, kaya okay lang na bumili ng marami. As a result, the customer's buying pattern does not reflect its consumption pattern, and the variation of the buying quantities is much bigger than the variation of the consumption rate of the buyer. Number 2 is order batching. Companies often place orders in batches in order to avoid cost of processing orders frequently and to avoid high transportation costs. Spike in demand due to periodic ordering increases the variability of the demand, and its variability contributes to the bullwhip effect. Pwede rin siyang ihalin tulad ng sa wholesale or bulk buying ng mga items. Since maramihan yung order, tumataas yung demand. At itong demand na ito ay hindi naman nagre-reflect talaga sa actual na demand. Halimbawa, End of the month, nag-order si retailer kay distributor na maraming mantika. So, ang gagawin ni distributor, magsa-stock siya ng maraming oil para hindi siya ma-sold out or mawala ng stocks. Eh, si retailer, hindi naman siya agad bibili ulit ng maraming mantika kasi kaka-order niya nga lang no end of the month. Nagre-result tuloy siya sa excessive inventory para kay distributor. Then number 3, shortage gaining. If the product demand exceeds the supply, manufacturers ration their supply and the customers exaggerate their orders by buying more than what they really need. Later, when the demand cools down, the orders will disappear and cancellation of orders will pour in, which creates a fake demand features for the manufacturer. For example nito is yung panic buying. Noong nag-start yung pandemic sa ibang bansa, nag-panic buying yung mga consumer doon ng tissue. Then iniisip nila, baka maubusan sila dahil magla-lockdown ng time na yon. Tendency, marami silang bibilihin para hindi sila maubusan. Then later on, nung nag-lie low na yung COVID, nag-cool down na rin yung demand at hindi na siya ganun ka at peak. Peak demand feature yung nakikreate nito which makes the decision making of the manufacturers difficult for their production. Number 4, demand forecast updating. Due to supply chain inaccuracies, forecast accuracy decreases as one moves upstream along the supply chain. Longer lead times for the replenishing of stock fluctuates the amount of safety stocks. As a result, order quantities are much higher than the demand data. Since naumpisahan na inaccurate yung forecast ng retailer, yung accuracy ng mga next in line sa supply chain ay hindi na rin precise. Dahil yung piece of information na ginamit nila sa pag-forecast ay hindi naman din kompleto at hindi naman siya stable. Next slide po. Listed below are the ways to combat the causes of the bullet effect. Number 1 is to stabilize the prices. Reducing the frequency of wholesale price discount is the simplest way to control forward buying and diversions. Maigi rin na yung mga manufacturers ay mag-establish ng kanilang wholesale pricing policy para ito yung magiging standard nila to regulate yung pricing para sa mga consumers. Second is yung break order batches. The manufacturer should devise strategies that leads to smaller batches and frequent ordering or resupply. Frequent ordering results to smaller orders and smaller variants. Since yung target na ibang company ay makaless din ng cost sa transportation, they should also devise alternative strategies or plans to minimize their transportation costs. Number 3 is eliminate gaming in shortage situations. When a supplier experiences shortage, instead of allocating the products based on the orders, it can allocate in proportion to past sales records. Customers then have no incentives to exaggerate their orders. For example po dito is yung sa alcohol. Noong time nung kasagsagan ng pandemic, yung ibang consumer, bumibili sila ng sobrang daming amount ng alcohol sa mga grocery stores, sa mga supermarkets. And to control yung ganitong scenario, most of the stores, markets, example dito sa amin, nag-set sila ng limit na 2 bottles na lang ng alcohol per person yung allowed na bilihin. In that way, yung mga nagpa-panic buying, yung mga consumers na nagpa-panic buying ay nakokontrol nila at lahat ng iba pang mga customers na gustong bumili ng alcohol ay makaka-avail at hindi sila mauubusan. Lastly is to avoid multiple demand forecast updates. Making the demand data visible and available at the downstream side to the upstream side can be done to avoid repetitive processing of demand data. Hence, both sides can update their forecast with the same raw data by accessing to point of sales data. This means na yung mga manufacturers ay dapat magkaroon sila na talaga ng basis or reference na document or data sa pag-forecast nila. Hindi lang sila magbabase sa kung ano yung sinabi ng retailers na finorcast niya na demand. Para din yung information about sa demand is umiikot din sa buong members ng supply chain. And that's all for our presentation of Chapter 8. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so thank you very much no, so for a presentation. So well discussed na presentation. So additional inputs lang. So based on what I have previously searched on this particular topic. No? So there are actually 15 best practices for supply chain management. So, and then that's typically the normal thing, like starting from the organizational management, like for example, recruiting and developing supply chain professionals. So it starts with the human resource that we have. No? So if we are actually fitting these people, no, to this actual activity, no, on related and in relation to supply chain management. So therefore we can expect a more effective system, no, with regards to this. And then assigning or aligning the supply chain team, so it's actually one of those. And then of course you have to establish alliances with suppliers, because as we all know, no, it could be better, no, for organization if we have several alliances with regards to our raw materials. No? So we should not depend on a particular supplier alone. So and then it could be better if we will purchase or procure supplies, no, in volume. Of course, no, with the end goal of reducing the cost. No? And you should also diversify supplier relationships to avoid delays, and and then at the same time improve demand forecasting. Management, you must also play a bigger role also on the planning itself, and then on the your KPIs, no, they should be properly identified and analyzed, no? And then increase supply chain visibility as well. So, like for example, constant communication, so timely updates and reliable documentation. So these are actually crucial, no, for an efficient supply chain. So, and then centralized document management. So this could be managing purchase orders, customs paperwork, and bills. No? So and other documents that can be a complicated process. No? So since this and then next is to improve your order to pay process. No? So the order to pay process is also known as the order to pay process. So these are actually this includes various departments, so across the company. So addressing this challenge, might involve companies automating this process, no, with the unified platform, and then invest in environmental and social sustainability and practice risk mitigation and compliance. You have also to focus on total cost of ownership and invest in technology and software. So leading to this, no, so base din naman dun sa six top supply chain strategies, no, this actually for the year 2020, it has something to do with the technologies, no, and software that is really significant, no, so to effectively manage your supply chain. So like the first strategy as identified by Jeff Steels, no? So he's the Vice President of Supply Chain Product Marketing at Oracle. So pagdating naman, di ba, when we say Oracle, no, isa siya sa mga ma provide these companies actually providing technological innovations, no, with regards to the manufacturing side, and even on the system that we have. No? So some institutions are utilizing these systems provided by Oracle. So the first strategy is to adapt a demand-driven planning and business operating model based on a real-time demand insights and demand shaping. Another strategy is to build an adaptive and agile supply chain with rapid planning and integrated production, and optimize product design management for supply, manufacturing, sustainability to accelerate profitable innovation. And then fourth strategy is to align your supply chain with business goals, or by integrating sales and operations planning with corporate business planning. And the fifth uh, strategy is to embed the sustainability into supply chain operations. So, and then the last one is to adapt emerging technologies to ensure a reliable and predictable supply. So these are the these are the some of the strategies now identified by Jeff Stills. So these are actually additional inputs to the presentations that we have no, a while ago. So thank you very much to your team. So let's proceed now with your last presentation. So this will be on the group of Jorel Tarado, Kyle Tumbiga, Jack Tuizere Jacks, Vargas RBN. On the section 1 is Abby Tangara and Makar, also Christian Villapando and Daryl Davis Olivar. So the virtual floor is now yours. So you may share now your screen. Thank you.
Hello po. Sir, rinig po ako, sir.
Medyo mahina po.
Hello, hello. Hello po, sir. Yan po.
Yeah, very clear na.
Sige po. Thank you po. So, good afternoon po. Kami po yung magre-report nung Chapter 9, Customer Relationship Management. Definition of Customer Relationship Management. Customer Relationship Management, CRM, is the combination of practices, strategies, and technologies that companies use to manage and analyze customer interactions and data throughout the customer life cycle. CRM can be used in marketing, sales, and operations to monitor and improve relationships and upsell clients. The goal of CRM is to improve customer service relationships and assist in customer retention and drive sales growth. CRM system compile customer data across different channels or point of contact between the customer and the company, which could include the company's website, telephone, live chat, direct mail, marketing materials, and social networks. Why is customer relationship management important? Doon muna yun. So CRM provides you insights on your customers, prospects, and suppliers. You can use this information to identify pain points and improve processes, sell more, and build customer loyalty. Isa po sa mga example na companies na gumagamit po ng CRM ay yung Apple. So yung CRM po plays a pivotal role in Apple's growth strategy. If you've ever used an Apple device, you probably had to register it using an Apple ID. An Apple ID is an account you use to access Apple services like the App Store, Apple Music, iCloud, iMessage, FaceTime, and more. Palipat na yun. Concept of CRM. Ang concept po ng CRM is CRM system helps companies stay connected to customers, streamline processes, and improve profitability. Ang meaning po nung streamline processes po ay means fewer errors and delays. A CRM solution helps you focus on your organization's relationships with individual people, including customers, service users, colleagues, or supplier throughout your life cycle with them, including finding new customer, winning their business, and providing support and additional services throughout the relationship. Next. A CRM system gives everyone from sales, customer service, business development, recruiting, marketing, or any other line of businesses a better way to manage the external interactions and relationships that drive success. A CRM tools let you store customer and prospect contact information, identify sales opportunities, record service issues, and manage marketing campaigns all in one central location, and make information about every customer interaction available to anyone at your company who might need it. Next po.
So for the components of CRM software consolidates customer information and documents it into a single CRM database so business user can more easily access and manage it. Over time, Many additional functions have been added to CRM systems to make them more useful. Some of these functions includes recording various customer interactions over email, phone, social media, or other channels, depending on the system capabilities, automating various workflow automation process, such as tasks, calendars, and alerts, and giving managers the ability to track performance and productivity based on the information logged within the system. So CRM in its simplest form, it is a way to manage potential people interested in your business and your existing customers as well in a most efficient way possible. It is like a central database with a full view of all customers' data, allowing you to analyze, monitor, and understand each and every one of them. Next slide, please. So we have a total of 11 components of CRM. Let's focus here on the first six. The first one is marketing automation. When we say marketing automation, it is a tool with marketing automation capabilities that can automate repetitive tasks to improve marketing efforts at different stages of lead generation lifecycle. Example po nito is yung when we say a lead, it is a potential customer. When a lead enters the system can automatically send email marketing content. And the goal of the email marketing content is to turn that lead into a full customer. Next one is Salesforce automation. Essential components of CRM, which is undertaken by the maximum business organization. This includes forecasting, recording sales processing, as well as keeping track of potential interaction. Third one is contact center automation. In contact center operation, it is designed to reduce tedious aspect of contact center's agent's job. Contact center automation might include pre-recorded audio that assist in customer problem solving and information dissemination. Next is geolocation technology or the location-based services. Some CRM system includes technology that can create geographic marketing campaigns based on customers' physical locations, sometimes integrating with popular location-based GPS or the global positioning system apps. Geolocation technology can be used as a networking or contact management tool in order to find sales prospects based on location. So, ang gist po nun is finding finding market through their prospect to the customers prospect location. And dito naman tayo sa workflow automation. When we say workflow automation, it is a number of process run simultaneously when it comes to the management, and this requires an efficient cost of cutting as well as streamlining of all the process. Lead management. It refers to the tracking prospect and their distribution. Track leads with CRM where the sales team can enter, track, and analyze lead data in one place. CRM helps business streamline their day-to-day workloads to streamline processes, freeing employees to focus on high-level creative work. Next slide, please. Let's go to the next one, which is the human resource management or the HRM. Tracking employee information such as contact information, performance reviews, and company benefits. This allows HR departments to better manage their internal workforce, and this also involves the effective and correct use of human resource skills at the specific moment and situation. It is the essential because component not only for large corporation but for medium industries as well. In analytics, the systematic computational analysis of data or statistics. It is process of studying and representing the data in order to observe the trend in the market. Also, it allows to make in-depth study of information that is required to calculate the progress of the whole business. Artificial intelligence or the AI. AI technologies such as Salesforce Einstein have been built into CRM platforms to automate repetitive tasks, identify customer buying patterns to predict future customer behaviors, and more. In project management, some CRM systems include features to help users keep track of clients' project details such as objectives, strategic alignment, process, risk management, and progress. And lastly, integration with other software. Many CRM systems can integrate with other software such as call center and enterprise resource planning ERP system. Next slide, please.
Hello, hello, rinig po. Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
hello, hello.
Yes, Makar,
Ah,
we can hear you.
okay po.
Thank you.
The next subtopic po is customer segmentation. Customer segmentation is a practice of dividing a company's customer into groups that reflect similarity among customers in each group. So, ito po yung paggugrupo-grupo ng mga customer based sa pagkakatulad ng kani-kanilang mga karakteristik. So, ang goal po nito is to decide how to relate the customers in each segment in order to maximize the value of each customers to the business. Customer segmentation is a process that is also known as clustering. So, as we all know, clustering is a task of dividing the population or data points into a number of groups. It aims to segregate groups with similar traits and assign them into clusters. Next. So, for the example po, in this scatter plot, each point or group of customers that are grouped with respect to their age and income. So, after clustering po the data given, we are now down to the 5 distinct segments in the data set. Next. And these data sets, these 5 segments, balik po. Um, these 5 segments were labeled based on their similarities. Example po is the first one, the group with light blue color. They are labeled as students because they are the people who are at their young age and are most likely to have a lower income. Next are the executives. They are the people that are in adult age and most likely to have a higher income. Next. Next po. Cluster models use these variables to create segment that contains customer with similar attributes. So in order to have a successful outcome, in customer segmenting, the goal needs to be stated. First one is to identify the best group of customer to sell their new products. Next is creating successful marketing campaign, and last is optimizing the sales channel mix. So by segmenting customers into different groups or businesses, it can focus not only on the overall behavior of the customer, but their future profitability, allowing companies to better focus the resources on the most profitable customers. Next. So the importance of segmentation. Customer segmentation has the potential to allow marketers to address each customer in most effective way, using the large amount of data available on the customers and the potential customers. A customer segmentation analysis allows marketers to identify discrete groups of customers with a high degree of accuracy based on demographic, behavioral, and other indicators. Next.
Hello po, rinig po sir.
Po, very clear naman.
So we have these types of customer segmentation. First is segmenting customer based on who they are. So it is typically focuses on demographics like income, age, relationship status, urbanization, gender, geography, family, and job type. Next po. And the second type of customer segmentation is segmenting customers based on what they do, or a behavioral focused segmentation. First is the share of wallet. Share of wallet is the amount of existing customer spends regularly on a particular brand rather than buying from competing brands. Second is basket size. It refers to the numbers of items getting sold in a single purchase. Next is the long-term loyalty and the tenure. Tenure is refers to the number of months that customer has subscribes for. Next po. Second type of segmenting customer based on what they do is focus on their transaction information. First is the product purchased by the customer. Second is the volume purchased. Then the number of item purchased. And last is the time of day of purchase.
The next is preparing your data. So what data needed to be imported to CRM? So where is it currently stored? So next. So if we ask those questions, then here we have to think about also about this question. So once you locate the data, ensure your readiness by considering those points. Which department already have database? It's some data on spreadsheet. Which record type, like accounting, contact, readers, contract. So how far back do you want to go with relationship history data? Is it 1 year, 2 year, or more than 1 year? Next. Another step is integrating CRM. Integrating CRM with other back office system like accounting, finance, inventory, order fulfillment, distribution, and shipping. Which application will CRM need to integrate with? Consider marking a list of possible integration and the benefits of each one, and design which is worthy it. Next. Managing user security. This 9th step. Consider how CRM will be shared in your business. For example, do you want every CRM user to export data to Excel? So flexible CRM solution like Microsoft Dynamic and CRM enable a device
Jack, you still there? Jack, okay, nawala ata si Jack. Kanina pa kasi siya nag-reconnect. So, anyone who can assume his part? Sige, thank you.
Hello, sir. Rinig po ba?
Yes po, we can hear you.
So, customer relationship management software. CRM software is a digital business resource that allows companies to manage and analyze customer data and information. Companies may track, automate, analyze, and optimize customer interactions with CRM software. Its goal is to help you understand how your customer interact with your business and to better organize and automate the day-to-day operations. So CRM software can assist by coordinating customer communications across departments. It is possible to get sales, marketing, and customer support on the same page. Throughout the customer lifecycle, it serves as a database for contacts and accounts. Companies may track, automate, analyze, and optimize customer interaction with CRM software. So, ang basic understanding po sa CRM software is isa siyang database na nag store ng contact information and interaction history for each individual contact.
So we've learned that CRM is a database that stores contact information and interaction history for each individual contact. And CRM software is simply the medium we use to store this data. So in general, customer relationship management technology provides the following sets of capabilities. So CRM software features first is customer data management. Customer relationship management software collects and organizes customer information, contact information, as well as exchanges by email, phone, web chat, and social media are included. Similar to dun sa HRM component na in-explain kanina ni Jurel, it collects and manages the data of your customers or employees, like yung name, contact info, and address. So basically, customer data management, it tells you who your customers are. Next feature is, next po, sales acceleration and enablement. CRM software aids in the automation and streamlining of various sales related tasks. This allows salespeople to do a better job while also speeding up sales cycles by automating monotonous operations. These tasks may include creation of codes, order processing, updating contact information, sending emails, sales forecasting, evaluating employee performance. So, kanina nga, sa customer data management, na-gather na natin yung mga info nila. So, sa sales acceleration, since we have yung mga email nila, phone number nila, sa paggamit ng CRM software, pwede natin na mag-schedule na lang tayo ng email ng about sa order nila or order processing nila ng customer. Tapos, automatic na yun na magsisend sa customer. Then, next feature is marketing automation. Marketing automation is a function found in many CRM software solutions. Others work in tandem with marketing automation software. Some features to look for include email marketing, lead management, lead scoring and qualification, landing page creation, web forms, marketing analytics. So, yung CRM softwares kasi, usually sales focus sila. But there are benefits also for marketing. So marketers usually store their leads in a CRM system and often help with database management. Like kanina din sa explained na marketing automation component, in-explain doon na pwede kang mag-send ng email doon sa mga potential customers mo about your marketing content or mga ads about your business, and probably or they might be your full-fledged customers. So last feature is customer service and support. Customer assistance services are frequently included in CRM software. Many of them also work with standalone customer service software. Example is help desk and contact center software. So customer support Features may include knowledge bases, ticketing systems, live chat, customer support portals. So small businesses need customer service applications to help organize, prioritize, and consolidate customer service inquiries. Example nito, basic example is sa mga online shop, yung sa Lazada and Shopee, pwede mong i-chat yung mga sellers para sa inquiries mo about dun sa mga bibilhin mo na na products. So example then is mga chatbots ganun. Next po.
So, benefits of using CRM software. CRM software has numerous benefits, including improved customer understanding, increased productivity, increased customer retention, improved team communication, and feature scalability, and much more. CRM software boosts customer retention. CRM software's focus on sales helps bring in customers, but its focus on service helps retain them. A CRM service module offers a central location for service agents to communicate with disgruntled customers. Feedback can be folded into reports, allowing managers to shift strategy decisions at a high level. Next, CRM software helps you understand customers. A CRM is a database of customer agent interaction that groups each customer historical data into its own category. This lets agents see at a glance any customer service history, complaint history, and any known demographic data. It's this holistic, intelligent structure that is the core of a good CRM service. Next, CRM software develop leads. A typical CRM service tracks and maintains relationships with people who aren't yet customer. Profiles can be created whenever a business audience shows signs that they are interested in becoming customers. Next, CRM software lets your service agents collaborate. Service agents can use CRMs to stay on the top of changes in their workload through internal company messaging. Many CRMs will include a history of agent interactions, allowing new agents to see which of their team members might have previously interacted with a customer. CRM software speeds up internal communication. Many CRMs offer an internal social network that allows service agents to post to a variety of channels. This helps agents quickly contact the right individual colleague or the right team to address a specific comment or question.
Next topic is CRM software pricing information. So CRM software is typically charged on a monthly subscription basis. The cost per user is determined by the scope of functionality required. Average subscriptions start at $12 per month per user for small enterprises. The cost of enterprise level products can run into the hundreds of dollars per month per user. More automation, reporting, integrations, and customer support tools are often found in this tier. On the other hand, free CRM software can be a perfect method for novice or new users to obtain a better understanding of how to utilize a CRM system before investing in one. When compared to commercial products, most free CRMs or freemium versions of paid platforms will offer restricted capabilities. They do, however, provide businesses with the convenience of having all of their contact information in one place. So small businesses and startups typically benefit from free CRM platforms, especially if they have the option to upgrade to a paid version as their PM grows. However, there are a few potential problems to be aware of with free CRMs. First, their functionality will be limited, of course, and there may be a limit on the amount of contact data or platform users. And second is many free CRMs lack capabilities such as integrated email tracking, automatic notifications and reminders, and lead scoring. Next po.
Um, CRM software is extremely useful, but it is more difficult to use than email or office productivity software. Each organization has its own set of requirements that do not apply to others. For small and medium-sized organizations, poor customer service may translate to a significant loss of revenue. So there are a variety of CRM software options from which to select. Here are here are some examples of CRM software. Zoho, first we have Zoho CRM. The company emphasizes its system's ability to automate tasks and improve workflow while, while building leads and creating more sales opportunities. Additionally, it can automatically assign leads to particular agents, prioritize prospects, and track and measure all marketing activities. So for the small end of the SMB segment or small medium size enterprises, Zoho CRM offers a straightforward, low-cost CRM choice. The software integrates with a variety of other programs, including QuickBooks, Google Apps, and Google Docs. A project management module is also included in the package. Next, Salesforce CRM is the leader in customer relationship management software and was the first cloud CRM system to launch back in February 3, 1999. They offer a good CRM, but Salesforce pricing is the highest in the cloud CRM market. Over the years, competitors to Salesforce have sprung up that offer the same features and functions that at a fraction of the cost and without the software bloat that comes with Salesforce. So Salesforce is a customer relationship management platform that allow users to forecast income and track leads. It is a popular customer service, sales, and marketing app. The sales, service, platform, and marketing apps from Salesforce.com are assigned to help businesses engage with customers, partners, and employees in full new ways. Third, we have Sugar CRM. Sugar CRM promotes its ability to provide a 360-degree view of each individual customer to the company. The company can gain a fuller view of its clients' interest by offering contextual information for its data. Unique features of the system includes real-time collaboration with professionals across the organization, social selling, and more. Next, we have Maximizer. Offers an on-premise or cloud-based CRM that includes three powerful tools: sales management, customer service, and marketing automation. The company's highly configurable web-based interface makes data management easy, while its reporting offers pre-built Excel reports and granular analytics for increased sales opportunities. Next, we have NetSuite, offers a complete CRM solution that promises personalized interaction across the entire customer lifecycle. While this company delivers common CRM features such as customer support and marketing automation, NetSuite stands out among its competitors, providing quotes, order management, sales forecasting, and even integrated e-commerce functionality. 6. Snap for CRM is a cloud-based CRM also software that offers a large suite of features. SnapForce offers optional modules that can add on to the core CRM product. These modules are available at a la carte, allowing you to add modules only for the people who require them. This means that if a single user need access to the campaigns module, the organization does not need to enable it for all its users. Only the user who will be using it needs to have it enabled. Seventh and the last, Insightly CRM is a good CRM system that was established in 2009 and has steadily increased its market share over time. Insightly is built on Microsoft infrastructure, including Microsoft servers and the ASP programming language. Unlike practically every other CRM in the industry, they have the same cost structure as all other CRM systems and offer wide range of features. Yun lang.
All right, so thank you very much, Christian, and to all of you who have presented the assigned topics. So as an input no, to this, so based on the actually there are 10 best CRM companies so, were according to Gartner Magic Quadrant Report. So this was released on October 2017. But among the CRM that you have presented, some are actually part of this 10 best CRM companies. So the first one is the Salesforce that you have mentioned. I think that's the second type of the second CRM that you have mentioned a while ago. So Salesforce is number one, and then it was followed by Pika. So and then next is which was not mentioned in your presentation. So Pega or Pegasus, and then the next one is the Microsoft. Microsoft is the third best CRM company, and then Oracle. So you have presented the Oracle NetSuite. No? So and then this was followed by Zendesk. I don't know if that was mentioned. Zendesk, and then SAP, yung SAP. So we are all familiar with SAP. So ito yata yung pinakamadaling gamitin. So and when we say customer relationship management, it's not just the outside customers that we are satisfying, but also the internal customers. So like for example, employees, so who are actually utilizing these types of softwares and technology. And then Lithium is one of those. And then it is followed by Freshdesk. And the last one is the CRM next. And I don't know if meron pa kasunod. Sugar CRM. So is the 10th best CRM company. So that was reported by Gartner Magic. So Quadrant Report. And then in the Philippines, so we have there are actually several best CRM softwares that you can choose from. So if you are an a supply chain management officer, so like for its intended uses. So if you are familiar with Monday, so of course if you are browsing through YouTube, so may mga commercials tayo like for Monday, so Monday.com. So this is the best for integrated project management. So in our office, actually, we are utilizing ClickUp, no. So it's a free software, no. So ClickUp, no. So but yeah. And then the another one is the Sendes, no, for Sendes cell. So for best for collaboration, and then for ease of use is we have the Keep CRM, and then for best sales pipeline tool, so you have the Pipe Drive, and then for growing businesses, no, so Salesforce is one of the best recommended for this type. And then other best picks to consider are the Oracle NetSuite, no. So this is the best software for e-commerce, and then best for sales pipeline tool. So you have also this uh, aside from Pipedrive, so you have also the Salesforce and Soho CRM. No? So it's the best for remote and mobile works. No? So hindi natin masyado na encounter some of these. No? So yun nga yung one of the dilemmas. No? So with regards to our curriculum, so we do not have this actual interactions, no, with this kind of technology. So maybe in your OJT later, no, this semester, so you'll be able to encounter some of these software, no. So yun, if mapupunta kayo sa mga medyo larger corporations like uh, isa sa maganda pagdating sa ganito on customer relationship is Snyder, no. Snyder, maganda yung kanilang ginagamit na system, no. And others, no, yung medyo high leveling naman yung kanilang kumbaga if you're going to assess their the level of their company is mas mataas naman doon sa mga pangkaraniwan nating nakikita. So yun, if you will be given a chance, no, to push through your OJT next semester, so sana, no, to push through your OJT next semester ay makahanap kayo ng mas magandang company, and then maging stepping stone yung OJT ninyo to be hired as their employee, no. So sa company na yun. Pero the case is kung mas makakapag-present yata kayo ng thesis. I don't know the situation right now in your thesis status, no. May isa sa akin na pwede na mag-present, no. So hindi ko pa alam yung sa iba if they will be allowed not to present this December their thesis manuscript. So yun, but overall, so thank you very much, no, for your enthusiasm, no, to present these topics, no, so really well, no. So may mga konting additional inputs lang. But then when you present your outputs, no, to especially, no, in your OJT, so please consider, no, to impress your superiors, no, so eventually, no, kasi that will create a mark on you, no. So kasi OJT yun, so leading to your employment, no, to their organization. So yun lang, no. But overall okay naman. So yun lang, and then good luck to your thesis. Hopefully you'll be able to present your thesis manuscript this December. Ano po? So any questions po regarding on your wala naman. So wala pong nagtanong. So basically, so I'll be sending some links, no, to your e-learning site, no, to the course site, no, for some quizzes, no, so to complement uh parang as additional requirements, no, to the subject. And then the exam it can be uh I don't know if January pa rin ay regular time pa rin yung para sa inyo, pero if we can settle the examination this before the Christmas break, no, so much better, no, para wala na kayong masyadong iintindihin. So yun na lang. So yun, so hopefully naman makapasa naman kayo sa subject na 'to. So ayoko naman maging dahilan pa yung subject na 'to para lang hindi kayo but overall naman is okay naman yung inyong performance. I doubt lang dun sa exam kasi yung the latest exam that you had, no, ay true or false, pero ang dami pa ring ano, false pumasa sa subject, ano. So ayun, so sana lang is kasi 1 hour lang naman, 1 hour exam siya. So feeling ko naman is you have the time to browse through your previous lessons. No? So, para nakita nyo rin. Ayun lang, medyo mababa eh. So, the highest score, I think one of the highest scores is Lil Francisco, and then another one is, sino nga ba yun? Si Val ata, Valerie nga ba yun? Ay, si Tony yata, wala ito. Tama nga, Tony. Is it you? 37 number 40.
Opo, sir.
Ayun, si Tony Olarte and Lil Francisco. And then the lowest is Robbie Albaran. Hindi, joke lang. Wala, hindi ko alam yung lowest, no? But the highest lang yung natandaan natin. So, si Tony and si Lil Francisco na nag-react bakit daw wala email sa kanya yung results na exam. So, yun lang po. So, ay, teka lang, I forgot. Nako. Nasaan na yung roleta nyo? Di ba?
Ano ba yung house and lot mo, sir?
House and lot. Kami nga walang house and lot. Teka na, nasaan yung roleta nyo? So, who will be, paano nga ba maglalaro tayo ng roleta? Hindi ko alam paano maglaro ng roleta na yun. So, any suggestion how can we do this simple raffle draw? Raffle draw. Mananalo ng PSP4.
Wow. Wow.
Pero console lang. Ano? Paano tayo magbubunutan? Walang nasagot eh. Paano mamimili na lang ako? Masyadong bias na kung mamimili na lang ako.
Okay lang, sir, kung ako po. Charot.
Hindi ko alam paano tayo mag-ano. Teka lang, magsa-search nga ako paano. Online. Online. Ano tawag doon? Roleta. Ito. Teka lang ha. Ayun na. Meron na ako nakita. Kunin ko lang yung pangalan nyo. Madali lang to. Wait lang po ha. Just give me a few seconds. So, ito muna. So, isa sa section 1, isa sa section 2. Ano? Ayan na! Excited daw. Teka lang ha. Sino ba yung binunod ko? Section 1 muna. Sige, section 1. Ayan o. Pwedeng share screen ko. Teka lang ha. Share screen. Yan. Okay na. Lucky spin. Okay na ba to? Nakikita nyo na ba? Can you see it, guys? Andito lahat ha. So, Aguilar, Abila. So, this is for section 1. Trial lang. Paano ba to ikutin? Ganyan pala yan. Trial lang ha. Disclaimer. Ay, sayang. Joke lang yun ha. Wala pa. Okay na tayo. Game na. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
4-1 ha. 4-1 mananalo ha. Tapusan nyo agad sa akin yung link ng Lazada ha. Okay na. Are you ready, guys? So, Merry Christmas. Ay, sorry. Ay, sorry. Ayun o.
Yun.
Sino nanalo? Wait lang ha.
Nice, Maui.
So, congratulations, Mau Santiago. So, Merry Christmas. So, please send me your wish list, no? So, you can check on the Lazada links and then send it to me, ha?
Legit ba
Right.
yun, sir?
Mukha ba akong scammer?
Mamaya.
Taray.
Mamaya dumating na
Pinaniniwala.
sa bahay namin, sir. Tapos biglang pala, COD.
COD.
Magkano ba, sir?
20.
Pang face mask.
And then, sige na lang, bigyan nyo na lang ako ng at least 3 links, no? Para makita ko naman yun.
Ay,
yung ano, ha?
sure, sir.
O sige,
Sure.
Ano ko,
congratulations.
3,000.
Congratulations, Mau, and
Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas. Okay, so let's proceed with section 2, ha? So, teka lang ha, kukunin ko lang yung name ng section 2. Masaya pala to eh, no? Wait lang po. Ayan, hanggang. Ayan na, delete ko muna yung kaya. So, kinopy-paste ko lang siya. So, andito lahat from Avelia Iris. You can see it now from Avelia Iris hanggang kay Vargas RB. Kasama pa nga dito si ano eh, saan ba yun? Yung hindi napasok. Ayan si Mark. Okay, so trial lang. Pabuenas. Oh, sayang, Kurt.
Nakaw.
Okay na, game na kasi kailangan ko na rin tapusin yung meeting ano ko. Okay na, dismiss na tayo. Okay na, so ito na yung
Go, sir. Okay na yan.
for section. Ulitin natin yan itong ganun. Paano ba ito? Teka lang hindi pa to ha.
Uulitin pa, sir. Ako na lang
Hindi to. Share ko para hindi nyo nakita.
Tinanggal yung pangalan mo, Kurt.
Hindi, wala. Andito pa rin.
Kaya
Andito. Okay, so share ko lang ulit yung screen. Pero makikita nyo rin naman ito sino yung. Okay na, so the winner is Tan.
Uy.
Oh my
Uy!
God.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, so congrats Jerome and congrats
Thank you, sir.
Jerome. So
Thank you.
same thing katulad ng kanina kay Ma'am. So please give me 3
Opo,
links.
opo.
No? So to your Lazada or Shopee. Ay, wala akong account sa Shopee. Lazada lang yun. So yun na lang. So thank you very much and Merry Christmas.
Yun. Thank you po, sir. Merry Christmas.
Session na doon sa mga umasa. Okay, so thank you very much. You may leave now the meeting. Bye-bye. Ingat
Sir,
po.
thank you po.
Bye, sir.
Thank you po,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Sige po. Bye-bye. Ingat po.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
sir.
sir.
Yes,